And today I have a Skype call with a wonderful singer called Alexander from Norway. And I'm giving him some tips on how he can reach peak performance. And some of the tricks I use or some of the tactics I share with him can be very useful to you too, whether it's going into a sales presentation, whether you are about to go on an important date, or anywhere where you may need to be in that peak state where you're going to just sweep your audience off its feet and just get them to respond to your proposal or whatever it is you're sharing with them. So these strategies and techniques will be very useful to you. Some of them may sound a little quirky and cuckoo, but you know what? Don't knock it until you've tried it. These are techniques used by the best. Listen to it carefully and put it to practice, because only through practicing can we really know if something works for us. Hello, Alexander. Good morning. It's Alkistis here.
Good morning.
How can we get right into this session? What are the things you'd like to discuss?
To get in the peak state in the studio, some advice, yes.
That's an excellent question. So you're a professional singer. I've heard some of your work on your website. It's quite impressive. And you'd like to get more access to your best self, the self that is positive, confident, radiant, energetic, and yet peaceful at the same time, inwardly calm and confident. Yeah?
Yes, correct, yes.
Okay, so one of the best ways, we use in NLP to get into the peak state is by basically remembering other times when you have felt great, when you have felt similar to that state that you want to. And we can just go ahead and actually do this instead of me actually explaining it to you.
Yes.
We could try. I mean, I'm not saying, it's sometimes these things take practice. NLP is and hypnosis, it's all about, repeating and practicing and
yes, of course.
And initiating. So let's try it for a moment. Let's just say you you're sitting comfortable and relaxed. You can do this with your eyes closed if you like. I think it's even more powerful.
Yes.
And I just want you to go back into your past and just recall one time that you felt, the way you want to feel, like great, confident, powerful.
Yeah.
Can you walk me through or tell me about a state, like a certain situation in your life when you were in that confidence?
Yes, I can give you some example about what I really want to bring with me in the studio. Is about when I'm playing with my guys.
So I just want you to go back as if you're there now, and just describe to me what's happening. What do you see on the outside? Are you in a studio? Where are you? Think of a specific time.
Yes. No, just I'm looking on the face of my drummers. I can see in his face that it's like the song, like the energy, and it's kind of way he's playing on his drum. I know him as a person. I know when he really like a song,
So he's happy. He's lighting up. His face is in happiness. You can see that. What else can you see? So inside, what's going on in your mind as you recall this memory? What's going on in your thoughts? What are you saying to yourself? You're thinking, this is good, I sound good, my music sounds good now.
In the pitch,
And
this is good, this sounds good, I'm proud of it.
And how is your body? Is it moving at all? Is your head moving?
Yes, it can move, moving.
Is it moving up and down or side to side?
More in moving back with my head, looking up in the roof.
You're looking up more. You're looking up.
Yeah, side to side up, yes.
Side to side. Is your head swaying a bit? Is it, or
Yes,
is,
it can be, yes. A little
Right.
to the left side, right side up, yes. Looking more up, yes.
right? And as we're talking, just keep going into that state. You know, what about the body? How are you seated?
I'm standing up, yes.
You're standing, okay. And
Yes.
are you moving from leg to leg, sort of hip to hip?
Not
Or
just
is
standing
your
there,
pelvis
just like,
pelvis moving? Is your pelvis moving like Elvis? You remember they used to say Elvis the
No,
pelvis?
that's not moving like that. It's more just like a cool style, just standing there. You know,
I see. I'm just thinking, you know, if you have a certain move that you do or a certain a gesture.
Yes, I have a gesture. There's a typical me. Yes, like I say, I'm looking up, looking to the side, looking down on my guitar, and my legs apart, and moving my hands up in the air. You know.
Oh, your hands are up in the air as well?
Yes.
Okay, see, I'm getting into that state as you're talking. It's like it's getting contagious, and I'm feeling that groove. I'm feeling that flow, and I can feel your flow getting more and more intense. What other sensory? What are you hearing? What is it? A favorite song? Is it one of your best songs? What's playing right now? What are you singing? So I just want you to think of your best song right now, and just go into that. And feel that whole song resonating, you know, and your hands up high. Just go into that state as we're talking. You can stand up. One of the things you can do to what we call anchor your state, the anchor is like an anchor on a boat. You just anchor it to keep that state, is by creating a certain trigger. A trigger meaning it's a physical gesture.
Yes, I
It's a
understand.
physical gesture, like putting your hands up in the air, or making two fists, or one fist, or maybe it's just one the thumbs up. You know,
Yes, yes.
can you choose a trigger that you can use to just release that state? No, you know the skill, and that's why the coach is here, just to make you practice that skill, because I think a lot of people, they know many of the NLP techniques or the hypnosis techniques, they just don't use them and apply them. So one thing you can do is put yourself in that state with that music, with those images, or a video of you playing in concert, and then just choose one physical gesture. It could be a combination with a sound like yeah, you know what I mean, or
Yes, but that's the reason. So I had one
yeah.
that I choose from Anchor. My state on the concert is about.
Cross your fingers. Is it like
Yes.
crossing?
Yes, and
Like
yes.
good luck. That's a
And
good.
that's really that's helping. Yes.
Yeah, that helps you. Some people cross both their fingers, and they may combine that with a sound like I'm the best, I'm the king. Before you enter the studio, you can go into a small room, even the bathroom, you know, just close your eyes, put the earphones on with your MP3 player, play that song, and go ready into the studio. And so when you walk into the studio, you're like, yeah, and you pull everyone with you into that powerful sound. You're like the team leader. So you have to go kind of prepared already,
yes.
sort of build yourself up, play that sound or play that video in your mind. You keep playing the video, keep playing the words over and over. So you recognize the importance of preparing yourself, preparing your state before the big day. And so this time you'll be more prepared. And I think you should play that video or MP3 from the moment you leave your house. Just keep playing it on repeat, on a loop, and just repeat it. The physical anchor. And, you know, to other people who see you, you know, in your car, they might think, oh my God, he's a crazy person. But you got to ignore these people, because that's what peak performers do. That's what great performers do, is they kind of like ignore, you know, they're in their own bubble. You got to create that bubble. And people know that because you're an artist, you know, and even a business person can do this too before they go into a sales meeting. You just prepare yourself. And these seem a little crazy, a little kooky to some people, these rituals They're called rituals.
Yes,
And
yes.
but that's okay, because superstars know this. The superstars will do their little pump up ritual every time, and people know that he's just doing his thing. And even better is to get in with your group to pull them into that energy. The more you prepare, the more you practice, because the mind is a muscle. The more you practice something, then the faster it is for the mind to just snap into that. You snap into that state. You switch into that state. And most people don't recognize that. They don't know that. They think, oh, when I'm feeling empowered, well, these things just happen. It either happens or it doesn't. No, that's a big mistake. You can train that state. And you can go into the studio on the day before or a couple of days before and just go in there, even if you're not going to do any recording. You just can say to the studio, look, I just want to pass by a little, just to get acquainted with the space again, and go from before. Like I do that before I give a speech. I'll go to the hotel conference room when nobody's there, and I'll just go in there and practice, or just go in there, do my meditation, do my anchoring, jump up and down, because my seminars are very energy, so I'll jump up and down a bit and get myself into that state.
Nice.
Yeah,
Yes.
you don't feel shy at all. I always say to people, compile a video with your favorite scenes, your favorite successes of your life, your peak states. And every time you do something like this, it's good to videotape yourself, have a record. And then you just play that video, because not everyone can meditate and close their eyes and visualize very well. But if you have like a video where you see yourself and say, that's me, I'm in front of 5,000 people, or that's me, I'm in that studio. If you keep playing that tape, it will just go into your subconscious. It's like a propaganda. You shouldn't think what other people would think. I always compare it. You know what I compare it to? Compare it to how we work ourselves up into a sexual fantasy. It's very similar. Okay, when you want to give yourself pleasure, when you're alone, what you do is you recall the images that turn you on. You recall the words that turn you on. You recall the smells and the sounds that turn you on. So and what you do is you compile them. You put sound, smell, my favorite words, all the things, you just compile them. We call that calibrating in NLP. Just you stack it one on top of the other. It's the same thing with this working yourself up to a peak state for performing. It's the same skills. I always say you are great at creating a peak performance. Just think when you are pleasuring yourself, how well you do that. And all you have to do is bring yourself to another type of peak. You have the skill. It's a natural skill. We all have that skill. It's a natural gift to bring ourselves into peak performance and pleasure, because it's all about you being in a state of pleasure, body, mind, and soul.
Of course.
Yeah, so you got to close off. You got to close off to anything that doesn't help. It's entertainers like you. I mean, it's a difficult thing. What you're doing is you're giving yourself pleasure while other people are watching, in a way, and they like that pleasure, so it's contagious and they join in. But
can you repeat that? I like that.
Yeah, I'm just saying that the job of an entertainer, who puts his whole audience into a peak or pleasure state, is, in a way, you can compare it to sort of giving yourself pleasure in front of a whole group of people. I mean, how would you do that? You have to sort of, at first you have to just put that bubble around you and give yourself the pleasure, and then there's so much pleasure that it overfills and it becomes contagious and it reaches your audience. And
thank you so much. Excuse me for interrupting, but that's exactly.
And I'm not saying it's that easy, but this is what you love to do. So just practice, practicing.
But actually, that's been much better to do that. Just I don't care what people say. I just get into the state and have a lot of pleasure with myself.
Exactly. They feel your pleasure. You when you are filled with pleasure, it's like a cup that overflows. When you fill yourself, then you share that, and people feel that, and it comes back to you. And then you're in this loop of giving and receiving pleasure. You're making love with the audience. You have to see that the whole environment is your woman.
I like that metaphor. Thank you so much. That was a really good metaphor. Yeah. Yes.
It's pretty sexy stuff.
Yes, but it was that's metaphor. Yes, I have this. I have it. I wrote it down. It's perfect. Yes.
You entertainers, you're channeling love and power and energy for all of us. So it's a calling. It's not for everybody, but it can be learned. Some people have it naturally, but also you can just through practice you can learn it, and you can do that by modeling and copying yourself. That's why I say recall your best self, recall your best moments.
Exactly, yes, exactly what you're saying, yes.
So, you have some practice and work to do.
Yes, thank you so much. It was really helpful, everything you told me now. So, I need to practice, yes.
Sounds like fun to me.